Welcome back to another edition of the Audio Barnyard podcast with Don Barnes. I'm Donnie Barnes. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're listening on any fine podcast platform, be sure to subscribe and leave a review and rating. Those are really helpful. We appreciate that. In this edition, we're going to be going off of one of our previous episodes. You can look back and listen for that one if you'd like, where we talked about mentors. And one of the things that you mentioned, Don, was that your first drum instructor when you were a teenager, world-class drum instructor named Gene Stewart, how he was so secure in himself, so confident in what he was doing, that he actually told you to go out and find at least 2 other mentors so that you could also learn from them and gain different perspectives, different ways of doing things. But that did come with a caveat, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. So, and one thing I don't think I mentioned in the other episode was Gene didn't do that the first week I was with him. He didn't do it the first month. It was probably, I'll bet I had been with him 4 years, 3 years, something like that, where it was an extended period of time where I was focused on doing things the way he did them. And as I matured, then of course I know he wanted me to come back and keep studying with him, but he did say, go out and find yourself some other people. You get a different perspective on it. What I wouldn't recommend to somebody is while we're talking about potentially having up to 3 people, and you may go through 6 to find your 3, you may go through 12 to find the 3 that what I would consider a keeper. Somebody I might go back to once a year for a tune-up, somebody that I might go back to for specific instances, is if you're a beginner, then the game changes just a little bit. Yes, you still want 3 mentors, but the first thing I would do is be focused on implementing, once you make your decision, I'm going with Donnie Barnes as my mentor, then I'm going to try to do everything I can, the Donnie Barnes method, for the first 6 months, maybe a year, could be even further than that. And that's the point that I then would go out and start getting a couple others. But what I don't recommend is the first month, if you had 3, I don't care if they're the best in the world. I don't want Donnie and then Jimmy and Bobby. I don't want all of them at once, because that's a recipe for disaster if it's the beginning stages and I don't have a foundation laid. So get your foundation in place with one guy. So I would do everything Donnie's doing. And once I'm comfortable with him at some point after 6 months, after a year, I'm going to branch out and get a couple others over time.
Yeah. How would you say or what are some things to look for maybe internally with your own performance to know when you're ready to take that next step and find some other mentors and some other perspectives?
Yeah, well, a lot of times you'll get to this weird point where you don't feel like you're making the kind of progress you were making in the beginning. And it always works this way. When you start with somebody brand new, they're going to bring some fresh perspective to what you're doing. And they're going to have a bunch of exercises that you need to do, or techniques, or things you need to buy, or practice, or do. And you're going to have a whole set of them to be working on. And you will get to an interesting point where if you've been with somebody for a year, now there are smaller gains to be had because you're starting to get in their system. Everything's working. Things are going well, but you're not making big gains anymore. And so once you feel it start to slow down, that's the point where you want to start looking around and say, well, okay, Donnie's been awesome. I love this. This has been a great foundation, but now it's time to go ahead and see if there's another perspective. And you'll get one of 2 things. You'll go, oh man, he was totally right. Or you'll get a whole different way of handling something. And either one is a win for you. You win in both cases.
And if you have people calling you in the middle of a podcast, that's another great sign that it's time to maybe move on and find a new mentor, right? So talking about red flags, though, let's talk about that a little bit, because just because maybe you're at a point where it's time to find some new perspectives, some fresh mentors, doesn't mean that every mentor is worth listening to, right? What are some things that might be a red flag for you when you're looking for a new voice to speak into your life or your career?
Yeah, well, so I get the flip side. I have some people, matter of fact, a lot of times someone's coming to me and they've already worked with somebody. And most of the time that's great. They've got a great foundation and things are working. And then I'm adding on top of that other person's. Or they've gone to them for performance coaching and they're talking to me about upping their tech game. But every once in a while, I run into someone that's coming to me and the current person they're working with, instead of being like, they're working with Donnie, and then they come and talk to me, and Donnie finds out that they're talking to me, and they're like, almost, you get the sense that they feel like you shouldn't be talking to anybody else. Donnie's getting upset that you're talking to me. Now, he may not outwardly be upset, but you get that sense that he didn't take that very well. If you have a great mentor, somebody who's seasoned, and somebody that's comfortable that their advice is really great, they're going to be fine. If Donnie goes ahead and someone's talking to me, they're like, wow, cool. Usually what he would say is he still wants his perspective to win overall. He wants his perspective to be validated overall, but he's not going to be threatened by somebody else who gives contradictory advice. And what he'd probably say is, yeah, that's cool. And you know what? There is a case for that. There's never one path to success. So the good ones recognize that you may have more than one path and want you to know about it. But there's this weird thing that comes up where you'll have some that I just consider him like a cult mentor, where anybody who goes outside of their little bubble and talks about a different approach or a different mentor, they're borderline upset about it. There's an edge there that feels funny, that it's like you can tell that they're not happy that you're talking to somebody else. And in my mind, that's just they're immature or inappropriate as a mentor, because if my ideas, my concepts, my methods are strong enough, I don't care who you go talk to. Ultimately, you'll come back and go, I see. This was one of the best approaches. And if you go to somebody else really good, you'll get a second approach that's also very good, but it's not going to be wildly different. And in a few cases it is. It's because it's going to fit a different circumstance.
Yeah, ideologues and fundamentalists tend to make interesting dictators, but not good mentors.
Yeah.
Might be a way to sum that up.
Well, I do think it's like your parents at some point, where Donnie's at a point now where he has 400 other mentors. I mean, you start off with your parents as your mentors, and then you get to a certain age, and we've all gone there, where it's like, oh, in this one area, my mom isn't such an authority. I mean, there's a point where they're the only authority, and then you get to a certain age where, hey, dad he doesn't know about this area. I can handle it two ways. If Donnie goes and talks to somebody else about something, I can either get upset or go, hey, cool, that makes sense. And, the good mentors really are like a good parent. They know when to let go a little bit without being offended that you've gone and consulted with somebody else. I mean, he'd be an idiot to talk to me about taxes, for example, or accounting directly. Do I know a little bit about it? Of course, because I've lived a lot of years, so I may have some recommendations. Am I an expert at it? No, not even close. And you're great mentors, you're going to see. It won't feel like you're in this little cult and you can't talk to anybody else around you because you don't want them to know you're working with that guy, or don't tell anybody else about the way we do it. Don't even look at the other methods. That's not what you're looking for. You're looking for the people that are relatively open, that are willing to entertain that there might be a better solution.
Yep, that is very well said. And if you're watching this and you're looking to up your tech game with your voiceover, podcasting, audiobook, narration business, you want to have a free 15-minute consultation with Don in a friendly way. He's not offended if you're talking to other people too. You can do that at vojumpstart.com. There's a sign-up link there. Get your free 15-minute call. Talk about your own unique situation, scenario, the problems or issues or challenges that you're facing in your business. He'll be happy to talk to you. And of course, if you're looking for ready-made, done-for-you programs that walk you through getting up and running with Studio One or Isotope RX, we have those as well at vojumpstart.com. So until next time, for Don Barnes, I'm Donnie Barnes. This is the Audio Barnyard podcast. We'll talk to you later.
We'll see you. Bye-bye.